This video looks at order of operations for natural numbers. So in what order are we going to do these operations such as adding, subtracting, multiplication, division? And it's very easy to remember. It has a name. It's very easy to remember. So we've got brackets is the first one. Brackets. And the next one goes to indices. Then we have roots. Then we have division, multiplication, I'm going to run out of space, addition, and subtraction. So if you take all of these capital letters, you get a thing called bird mass, which is really easy to remember. One thing that you need to remember is that brackets is on its own. So this is always first. Indices and roots kind of happen together. That's number 2. Division and multiplication together, and then adding and subtracting together. Sorry, that should be 3 and 4. So always you go with your brackets first. Whatever's inside your brackets, you do it. Then you move to looking at indices and roots, and you do those. Then your division and multiplication stuff, and then you're adding and subtracting. So it's pretty straightforward. We'll take a look at a few different examples. Something simple. Here we go. We've got 82 minus 31 plus 2 multiplied by 2. So our rule says go to brackets first. So let's do the bracket. 82 minus 31 minus 2 is going to be 29 multiplied by 2. Now our next thing, do we have indices or roots? No, we don't. Do we have division or multiplication? We do. So 82 minus 29 times 2 is 58. And then finally, our last one, adding and subtracting, we do that. So 82 minus 58 is 24. Okay. So just to understand this is correct, big tick here. Just to understand why doing it in a different order might cause some issues, is say we didn't do this step correctly. 82 minus 31 plus 2 times 2. So we get down to here, 82 minus 29 times 2. Say we actually take away 82 minus 29, we're going to get 53 multiplied by 2. And 53 multiplied by 2 is 106, which is a completely different answer to the other one. So it's really important that you follow this order of operations. So this is the correct way. You meant to do your multiplication before your subtraction, but here I did the subtraction first, which is the wrong way to do it. Let's look at something a little bit more complicated, and this is somewhere where some people get a little bit confused. I'll go into a new page for this one. This is something where we have a fraction. And don't be confused that a fraction is the same as division, because you can make a big mistake there. Minus root 25 and a minus 6. And then we've got brackets 81 minus 6 times 9 plus 2. Now here's another thing you need to be careful of. We're told to do the brackets first. I'm going to write it up here. Bird, so I remember. We're told to do the brackets first. Inside this bracket, I have 3 different operations. And operations are just the different things we do. Minus, multiply, and plus, right? So you've got 3 different operations. I could go in and do 81 minus 6, which would give me 75. 75 multiplied by 9, which gives me 625. And then 625 plus 2 is 627, which would be the wrong answer. And why is that? Even when we're inside our brackets, we still have to follow this rule. So you're inside the bracket, and then you do the rules again. So you go to your bracket here, and you have to do your multiplication before you do your addition and subtraction, and that'll help you. So anyway, let's do the full thing. So we have a bracket up here at the top, 2 times 3, which is easy, 6. Leave everything else up top. Now down here, we're going to have 6 times 9, is the first thing we do. So I'm actually going to do it like really slowly, and go really step by step. So that was step 1. This is step 2. Here we go to step 3. So nothing on top can change because we haven't even finished our bracket yet. Now it's just adding and subtracting. So 81 minus 54 plus 2 is going to be 29. Okay. What is our next thing? Indices and roots. Well, we have both of those up there, so let's do that. 6 squared is 6 times 6, which is 36. The square root of 25 is 5. And then we've got our 6, and then we've got a 29. Now, we know that a fraction means we're dividing, but when we say division up here, we mean the actual division sign. We don't want to start dividing 29 into these things because it's really not possible without a lot of confusing things going on. So let's do the subtraction. 36 minus 5 minus 6 is 25. And we're left with 25 over 29. And there's your answer. So you've gone through that whole process. And it's really important that you follow that process. Because if you don't, as I showed in the previous question, you can really end up with a big, big mistake. It's really important, especially in this situation, which I think is that you can get confused here because we know that a fraction sign means dividing, but it's not a division sign. So be careful. Leave it as your fraction. It ends up as a fraction. Don't be tempted to start cancelling things and doing all weird stuff. So that's order of operations. You got your brackets, indices, roots, division, multiplication, and then addition, subtraction.